Welcome one and all to Influence Music Podcast. We exploring new music and making connections back to previous musical generations via panel debates, conversations and interviews with artists, enthusiasts and media insiders. Welcome one and all to episode 11 of Influence Music Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you've heard some of our previous episodes so you know what we're all about. If not, please do go back and have a listen. We like to talk about music of all genres and all formats. Today we're revisiting a show we previously did, show number 7, which was our musical guilty pleasures. So the format of the show is pretty standard for our shows. We have a subject prior to getting together and having a chat. I normally have a co-host or a panel. We will then talk about that subject. There will be a playlist in a mixtape fashion that goes along with the show, which is available on iTunes and Spotify. So like I said, revisiting episode 7. So panel returns from that show. I'd like to introduce blogger, friend, beatmaker, Lee, the new beatmaker. Lee, you good?
I am very good, thank you, and thank you for having me on again. I hope you're all safe and well, listeners.
And who also graced us with their guilty pleasures is music artist, radio host, and also raving partner and good friend of mine, Mark Anthony. Mark, what's going down?
Brilliant. Glad to be here to revisit guilty pleasures again, because I've got a few things to say.
So going back to how it worked last time, what we did is I went out to the guys and said, come up with 10 to 15 guilty pleasures and put them on a playlist. But I didn't want to see them. So none of us saw each other's guilty pleasures before we did the show. We discussed a few tracks on the episode, but now we've been able to go through the playlist. I think it's a good opportunity to revisit. So I'm going to call this episode Guilty Pleasures Revisited. Are they guilty or pleasures? Now, this was a really hard one in terms of the original show because you could just keep going on and on and on. Once you delve into guilty pleasures or musical guilty pleasures, it's never ending. So the definition we used for guilty pleasures was anything somebody wouldn't expect to see in your collection that may be considered a little bit cheesy or uncool. But I know it's quite a broad tapestry, so some people might say, oh, that's not a guilty pleasure. It's just something that we said was guilty to us. I think we'll take it in turns to talk about certain parts of the playlist. And I would like to say I am disgusted, and I'm going to use the disgusted, that both of the members of the panel, who I take as highly intellectual, intelligent music people...
Oh, he's setting us up to knock us down here, Mark.
...picked tracks by Peter Andre. Now, I know Wiley's been in the news for all the wrong reasons recently, but Wiley's very strong on the statement culture vulture, so we're going to stick to that bit of his talk. And he said Drake is a culture vulture, and so on, and Ed Sheeran. Oh, Peter Andre, culture vulture. I'm going to say it straight now. Now, who picked Mysterious Girl? Which one of you two Muppets did that?
Look, as a less melanated member of the cast.
Is it you that picked it?
Coming from the caves 6,000 years ago. You know what I mean?
So, this geezer has basically said, it's summer. What do people do in the summer? They listen to reggae. Let me pretend to be Shaka Demus and Pliers. Okay, fair enough. He has a hit. But now you think to yourself, okay, here we go. He's going to be that guy. No. He decides for his follow-up single, which another one of you Muppets picked. I don't know. Ragga's not cool at the moment. I'm going to be Montel Jordan and do Flavour.
What?
Absolutely
guilty as charged.
Ludicrous. Both of those picks.
Guilty.
And you're guilty.
As charged.
Guilty. I don't even need a jury on that at all.
Guilty as charged. I'm proud of it.
Guilty. There's no pleasure in that whatsoever. Disgusted I am.
Look, as Confucius once said, if you want to swing, let me do my thing and everybody dance with me.
Well, you're going to come back to quoting lyrics in a minute. So don't go. But with every guilty, I have to come back with a pleasure. Now.
What does that even mean?
Somebody decided to throw E17 in here.
Hey.
Who was that? Who picked the E17 deep?
That would have been me.
Mark,
that would have been
genius.
me.
Because this is coming on some of that PM Dawn shit.
Listen,
Comes in with that tight production, reverse beat, the keys are quite melodic, that soft kind of semi-East London vocal, turn the lights on low. That's absolute dub. Absolute dub.
Exactly.
So you should not be guilty about that at all. That is definitely a pleasure. And anyone that disagrees with me, you're wrong.
Well, I can say this firsthand. The influence for that song being written was LL Cool J, I Need Love. And I know that firsthand.
Really? Could you know that from your interview?
Well, yeah, I mean, without name dropping, I'm very good friends with Tony Mortimer. So I know he's said it a few times that the influence for the song was LL Cool J, I Need Love. And he literally just wrote it in his bedroom in Walthamstow in about an hour. So it's a brilliant dub. It's a brilliant tune.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of it. Like, it deserves its place on the list, on the playlist.
It does.
That's what I'm saying. And I was never going to be tempted to delete it. But moving forward, again, like I said, after every pleasure, I have to hit you with a guilty. Now, I know this was Mark because Lee isn't this daft. It has to be Mark. This is. Who put that All Saints track song on there?
What track is it?
Is it Lady Marmalade?
And I'm loud enough to say yes, it was me.
All right. Can you explain why? They all got had up by Christina Aguilera, Maya, and Missy Elliott. So why wouldn't you put that version in?
Well, let me educate you about what a guilty pleasure is. I'm aware that a guilty pleasure is a song that I would really like, or the person naming the guilty pleasure would really, really like, that would perhaps get a bit of a shocking reaction from someone else. So I'm aware that it's not... Yeah, I'm aware that it's not a song that everyone would be responding to me saying, oh my God, what a brilliant tune. I'm well aware of that. But in my mind, that's what makes it a guilty pleasure. That's what makes it a guilty pleasure.
Where is the pleasure? That's the point.
The pleasure is...
about it?
The pleasure is I love the tune.
But what about it?
And I'm even going to say, I'm controversial enough to say that I know with this song, aside from the original back in the 70s, everyone would quote the... Yeah, of course it is. But everyone would quote the Christina Aguilera, Pink and Little Kim version.
Little Kim, so it's not... Yeah, you're right. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, but I've always liked the All Saints version, knowing that people wouldn't agree with my opinion on that, but that's what the show's all about: controversy and the debate and argument.
I don't think it is. It's my show, so I'll tell you what the show's all about. Okay, you don't define the show; I define the show, and the show's about good music. Okay,
and if you don't like it, that's more of an incentive for me to argue my case. So I can wind you up for good conversation.
Disgraceful.
So,
but I also think this.
It's a tune. It's a tune.
It's not, brother. I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's how much I'm annoyed. I don't want to. Let's leave it there. The next one is definitely a pleasure, and I expect Lee will probably edit my next statements. But hey, who cares? It's Take That, Sure. Okay, who picked that?
I think that might have been me.
So you're so Jekyll and Hyde because this is an absolute tune. Now, I don't know if Gabby Barlow was dating a black girl at the time or Eternal just walked past the studio when they were making it. But from somewhere, they got some funky soul up in that motherfucker. And this is an absolute tune.
So I'll tell you about my memory of this tune, right? Now, at secondary school, obviously, us being guys, we were all into football, and in terms of music, we was all into like hip hop and stuff like that. And all of the girls in the era were either into Take That or E17. And in our minds, it was like boy bands, blah, 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 whatever. You know, they're all crap, whatever. And I remember when Shaw came out, it was a sort of tune that you'd have to say to one of your trusted mates very, very quietly, yeah, that's a bit of a tune, isn't it? Because you need to sound out where they're coming from because you don't want to be when you're like 14, 15 years old. And it was a tune that was like, oh my God, Take That have come out for bit of the
Do you know
tune
what else?
that even us as guys are liking. And then just a quick one. And then they all shaved their hair off. I think a couple of them shaved their hair off and got dreadlocks and all the rest of it. And a couple of us guys were like, "Oh my god, they look like bad boys a little bit now." You know what I mean? And it was the sort of thing you couldn't say too loudly. You can say to your just trusted mates that you sit next to in English, "Yeah, it's a bit of a tune, isn't it?" But you can't be known to be saying that. But that's my memory of that tune coming out.
The intro, right? The intro of it is like, and I wouldn't say it's like dead the same, but so similar to Kenny Thomas's "Thinking About Your Love." Like that, the starting like 4 or 5 bars, unbelievable, and that's like a Soul Weekender classic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolute tune. That is a pleasure. There's nothing to be
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tune. So I'm glad you agree that Sure Might Take That is a tune and Lady Marmalade by All Saints. I'm glad you agree with
this
that.
This was definitely Lee, this one. There's no doubt about this. This next one's got to be Lee. Right. So
Talk to me.
I understand one of you must have picked it, and I understand because to me this takes me straight back to primary school. 2 girls dancing together, one standing behind the other one with their arms crossed and they're wrapped together and they're swaying from side to side. It is
What the hell?
Kylie and Jason's Especially For You.
Yes, mate.
Now, why would you choose
Now
that?
we're back together. I wanna show you. Yeah.
No.
Why wouldn't I?
No. Just no. Where's the pleasure in it?
Oh, bruv, do you not have ears? Kylie and Jason, are they or aren't they?
Okay, I get that.
And then there was of course a big Denise Van Outen and Johnny Vaughan version, and it just brought it all back. It brought the memories back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate.
I have to say, Lee, in support of your choice, when that song came out, I was inspired to write a poem for this girl in my class.
There you go.
Because I really liked her, but the sad end to that is that she wrote on it and gave the note back to me saying thanks but no thanks.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been there.
I've never been there. There was no point in my life that I thought to myself, I've made mistakes, don't get me wrong. But there's no point in my life where I thought to myself, Kylie and Jason is definitely going to get me my one true love. I've never thought that at any moment. I'm sorry. Nor did it inspire me to write poetry. In any way.
Did it inspire good neighbours to become good friends?
Oh, I like it.
Awful, Lee. Sorry.
I'm
not
sorry.
having
I
it.
will
End of
die.
story.
I will die on that Kylie and Jason hill. I don't care.
And I also know this one was you as well. I'm going 2 Lee guilties back to back.
Let's go,
Lee.
champ.
Brian Adams
Let's go,
and Mel
champ.
C. Brian Adams
Mark.
and Mel C.
Let's go, champ. Oh yes.
No. It is torture. It is pain.
Seeing as Mark William is bringing race into absolutely everything. Yeah, I'm in my white boy bag.
I'm telling
Hashtag
you
white
now.
boy. Hashtag white boy Wednesdays.
Well, to be honest, I think Mark's bringing a lot of anger to this show.
Lyric
I
That's
think
quote.
he is.
I'm going to quote.
It's
Lyric
making it-
quote.
making it quite emotional.
They even say, it is torture, it is pain. After listening to this song, you'll never feel the same. That is the lyrics, I believe, is it not?
Would you agree?
Sorry?
Would you agree with them?
No. I do agree, thoroughly.
But Mark, even food don't taste so good.
Oh, it's such a bad song. In
Well,
fact,
no,
it's such
I
a
don't
bad
care.
song.
I love that tune.
I had to find the Bryan Adams tune that I love. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a massive Bryan Adams fan. But Run To
Don't
You...
give it up. Chicane.
Run To You I could live with. But
Yeah.
this, I can't dabble in this, mate. I don't know. I'm actually tempted to just delete it off the playlist.
Well, that would make you a bad person, but sure.
It would.
Awful pick. But did you pick Wet Wet Wet's Good Night Girl?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I mean, I nearly cried when I listened to that because Marty's voice, what a tune. Now,
I'm saying.
I'm a massive Wet 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 fan. You could have
Yeah,
come
me
with
too.
Sweet Little Mystery, Angel Eyes, Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight.
Julia said
said-
she doesn't know what it's all about.
Any of them. And the
Wishing I was lucky.
fact
Oh, mate.
the fact that the came out with the album popped in, sold out.
Sold out.
That little clever. Oh, these geezers were genius.
1987.
And every time exactly in 87, and it always reminds me of The Commitments, the movie. I don't know why, but I put The Commitments and Wet, Wet, Wet together because it was...
Mark bringing race into it again.
It's unexpected soul. That's what it is, because when you see him get up there, like you said, it's unexpected. But his vocals are second to none, to the point that actually me and Mark are going to see Wet, Wet, Wet in November. And the fact that there's no Marty Pellows actually put us off. I lie, Mark?
Yeah, very true, very true.
Will it be wet, wet, wet? Will it be dry, dry, dry?
Exactly.
Yeah, love it. But it's the guy from who was in Liberty X, I think, is the new lead singer. I'm not really sure how that works.
But how do you replace those vocals?
Yeah.
It's like Queen without Freddie Mercury. They're still good, they're just not great.
Yeah,
quite like Adam Lambert with Queen, but it's two different bands, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I put Wet, 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 Goodnight Girl in the same kind of, I know it's a different timeline, but on the same kind of line as when we were talking about Liberty X holding on for you with the whole Hugh Grant Love Actually kind of era of quintessentially English films with a romantic will they or won't they angle, but Wet, Wet, Wet all day.
The next guilty is hard for me to say guilty.
Mark's turned into Jeremy Paxman, have you noticed?
I say guilty just because it's just such an obvious choice and we hear it all the time, and aren't you sick of it?
I don't think
Mark's never going to give you up.
And you know why? You will hear it again and again and again until the end of time. You know the rules, and so do I.
We're no strangers to this. But,
you wouldn't hear this from any other guy.
It's just a terrible pick. I'm sorry, mate.
I just want to tell you what I'm feeling, Mark Williams.
I think you should have given up with this one. I'll be honest with you. I know you never wanted to give it up, but I think
let's bring race into it yet again, because Mark Williams is getting us cancelled anyway.
No, what's got nothing to do with race? I'm gonna
Where were you when you found out Rick Astley was white?
No, I'm gonna put it down here. This is my exact quote from my notes. Yes, we've all sung along to the words and we've done it on karaoke, but do we listen to it at home? No.
Yes.
No, we don't. However, he did drop a tune when he had long hair and couldn't get out of his record contract called Cry for Help. Do you ever remember that one?
No.
Exactly. So don't come with the race card with me, because I'm a bigger Rick Astley fan than you are. In fact, when I was a kid, I used to call him Quiffy.
Quiffy?
Well,
What's that?
bullying. That's bullying.
Well, I saw him on Terry
Did you bring up a
Wogan.
reference to his race as well?
I saw him on Terry Wogan and he had this hairstyle. And I asked my mum what it was, and she said it was a quiff. And then I was a kid. He went,
"It's a thing white people do."
No, she never said that. What are you trying to make? She just said it's called a quiff. And then I was like, oh. So then he was known in our house, as Quiffy.
Mark Williams has been out in the sun too long.
I'm just telling you. We fondly know him in my household as Quiffy. Being horrible to me today. You're both being horrible to me. I'm just saying it as it is. But to be fair,
Rick Astley is the Scottish Bobby Caldwell.
Oh, I did have.
You need to open your eyes.
Kim's, Respectable.
Respectable.
It wasn't, but another day in time it would have been me. Yeah.
Absolute tune. However, my little thing with it is, if we didn't have the video and the visuals, would we love it as much?
Yes!
Because I think that's all part of it.
I mean, has everyone seen the video? Everyone knows the song, but has everyone seen the video? I mean, maybe they have, to be fair, because it was quite a popular video.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What visuals are you talking about? This was in the 80s. What visuals are you talking about?
No,
I remember the video.
Saying. It's one of those early videos that's really famous. Like, I've seen it. Have you not seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. Of course
Exactly.
I have. Yeah.
And I just kind of, I can't hear the song without thinking of the video. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, maybe. Hackney, Mel and Kim, gotta love them.
Stockade, King and Waterman as well, hitmakers. So
yeah.
no, I
exactly.
do understand why it's in there. I just wanted to to make that comment, and that's me done. That's my rant over.
That's your run over.
Yeah, like every other pick on the album on the playlist, I thought was pretty solid. As in to say, I could see why it was there.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I mean, obviously, all mine are brilliant.
So let's just go through yours, Mark.
Well, we can go through them. There's no problem. I don't know why we're bothering. They're all brilliant. But go on.
So what was your first pick on the playlist? Because I'm looking at the playlist now, but I can't remember whose was whose.
Jennifer Page's Crush.
Jennifer Page, Crush. I don't like the tune. Yeah, I've never liked the tune, but it's a guilty pleasure. And the thing is, as I said, I guess me and you probably have slightly different ideas about what a guilty pleasure is, because in my mind, the guilty pleasures are the songs that other people are going to be like, oh my God, why have you got this song? Why do you like this song? This song's tacky, it's cheesy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's a guilty pleasure. I got nothing against that song being classed as a guilty pleasure.
Then I move on to New Kids on the Block single.
Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I don't think it's a guilty pleasure. I think that's a tune. So, New Kids on the Block, I just want to say, New Kids on the Block, I know that they have got the boy band tag and all the rest of it, but that album they brought out called The Block, where they worked with some legendary hip-hop and R&B producers, I'd go as far as arguing, I mean, this one was obviously with Neo, I'd go as far as arguing that that's not a guilty pleasure. I think it's a sort of tune that would come on in a club, and a hardened R&B guy, for example, would love the tune and then have to question themselves when you say, you know who that was, bruv? That was New Kids on the Block.
Well, isn't that a guilty pleasure then? Because you're being, as I was saying, you're not standing there saying, I own
true,
this.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, do you know what?
Yeah, true.
Though? Right then, so move on.
Yeah, true. I'd say the right stuff's a guilty pleasure, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Then we're moving on to Touch Me by Kathy Dennis.
That's not a guilty pleasure.
Huh?
That is a tune.
Yeah, that's a tune. That's not a guilty pleasure.
That is a tune.
My next one, I'm not sure it is a guilty pleasure, but I put it down as a guilty pleasure because it's Madonna. And I would not normally associate my music taste with Madonna. In fact, I would say the only time I ever kind of dabbled in Madonna was when she was doing that work with William Orbit. And even then, I wasn't a massive fan. But it's Justify My Love, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
I quite like that tune.
Yeah, exactly. Then I've got Everything I Can't Have by Robin Thicke, which again I put in there for guilty pleasure only because.
Oh yeah, we talked about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Then we've got Liberty X, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we're moving on to the Bad Man. Begin the Begin by Julio Iglesias.
Who you've styled yourself after?
No, now basically, he's an icon. He's the definition of don't hate the player, hate the game.
He's a style icon, isn't he, Mark?
He's a style icon. I mean, Essex kids now are wearing mixed tailorings, loafers and no socks everywhere they go these days.
Some literally on this podcast.
And Julio was doing that in the 70s.
Shoes with no socks, ma.
Not only that, he only ever talks about the women that he ain't with no more. He never talks about his girlfriend. He always talks about the lady that I loved before. Not the one he's got now, before.
And he's got about 600 albums.
He's an absolute G.
That's a lot of women.
But you know what? I just want to say though, I'm really surprised that the three of us never picked Tom Jones. Not a single one of us picked Tom Jones. He's got the same kind of swagger. Yeah, but it's got the same kind of swagger, and it's got a good soulful voice. I'm not saying I'm a fan, but it's got quite a soulful voice.
I don't think he's got the Julio. He hasn't got the Julio effect. See, so Julio turns up in his music videos. If you ever see Julio against his music video, he looks like he's just come straight out of the boardroom or giving some financial advice. There's no dancing around. There's no crazy dancing or jigging. I'll tell you what he does though. When he means it, he sings with them eyes closed.
Okay.
He sings with them eyes closed. I mean, this geezer revolutionised Britain. We discovered Spain. We discovered Spain in 1977. And many people started travelling there on holiday.
Sorry,
Okay?
are we talking about Harold Macmillan?
No, listen. I'm telling you now. And let me explain why he revolutionised Britain.
Julio Iglesias, the greatest wartime prime minister this country ever had.
Mate, I'm telling you now. Julio Iglesias revolutionised Britain. Late 70s, early 80s, we started going to Spain. We'd go to duty free. We'd dabble down to the market for a bit of cheap leather. Ladro and Neo were all the rage, okay? And in the evening, when your mum or your nan, whoever it was on holiday, and they've had too much sun.
Don't bring people's mums and nans into this, Mark.
You know what I mean? Of that age dynamic.
Especially with Julio Iglesias.
Of that age dynamic. They're sitting down, having a sangria, umbrella in their drink, listening to the entertainment, and then the disco comes on. And they hear the sultry tones of a man that they've never heard before. Now, they don't know what he's saying, because he ain't in English. And they don't know what he's doing, because they can't understand him. But it sparked something special inside them. And made them realise there's passion to be had here. Passion. Change the world. Change the world.
No hable en español.
Now, let me go back to
soy amore.
Let me explain why he's such a G. Begin the begin. Okay, so he starts the song in English. Begin the begin. Let me explain what that means. It means begin the beguine. Beguine is a dance. Not a normal dance. It's kind of like a Caribbean foxtrot. Something with a bit of hips in it. All right?
I've heard it called a lot of things in my time, but never the Caribbean foxtrot.
So, it's in Spanish, people, so I'm going to translate the lyrics for you from the first verse. He says, I want to feel the same thing as always. I want to know if you still love me. I want to start again, as in to say, I want to give it a go. I want to know what happened in your life, because obviously he's still not... That's Julio's whole thing. I want to know if everything is forgotten. I played with you, but I know you still love me.
Whoa!
What a G!
You've done a lot of research into that.
Trust me.
That's good.
I've got posters of Julio up at home.
Yeah. It's good. I still think, though,
This is a guy who's got banging tracks with Willie Nelson.
Right, okay.
To all the ladies that I've loved before. To all the women that have travelled in and out my door. I mean, who writes lyrics like that? Jeez.
To all the women that have travelled in and out of my boardroom for financial advice.
Straight gangster.
On how to revolutionise a country.
He revolutionised the passion in our country. Passion.
I'll tell you what, though, Mark Williams.
Romantic passion, I should say.
Only built for Cuban links by Raekwon and Ghostface turned 25 years old this week. And I was always admirable of terminology, starting with the ad-lib Julio Iglesias making cream like that person.
Yes.
In fact, I think it's on... But yeah, Julio Iglesias gets a reference on only book for Cuban links. I don't. One of us ain't living right.
He's a straight up G. So I'll go back to my list. I think my last one is a song called Shimmerik by Tarkan, who is kind of like a massive Turkish star. And anyone that's ever been to Turkey on holiday, somewhere like Marmaris or Bodrum, I've heard this song. Us British people know it as the Kiss Kiss song. It was made famous by Holly Valance. She did a cover of it. Do you remember?
That's right. Yeah.
So I've put that in
you were on this tune back in the day, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always on them. That world music. So that's it. That was the last one on my list.
Mr. Worldwide.
Oh, I'm lying. I've got a couple more. Sorry. Hold the Line by Toto.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's got an unbelievable guitar solo. 100 Mile High City by Ocean Colour Scene.
That's never a guilty pleasure.
Well, again,
that's not a guilty pleasure.
I don't think people generally would see me as a indie kind of Brit poppy kind of guy, but I am.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Ocean Colour Scene.
I think that's more of a you wouldn't guess. I like this song,
exactly.
but that's not a guilty pleasure.
I
mean,
accept
I
that.
will defend Kylie and Jason all day long, but Kylie and Jason and Ocean Colour Scene. Do you see what I mean? They're not on the they're not in the same league game, whatever.
And that's it. And then I'm done. So like I said, Mark. I know Mark always tries to pull the carpet from under my feet, but unlucky, mate.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just listening and absorbing the guilty pleasure vibe. It's all good. It's all good.
We go through the rest of them. Some of them we spoke about on episode 7, so go back and have a listen. But when you flick through the list, I'll tell a lie. Another Level's Freak Me kind of offended me a little bit. But I understand.
No, that's a tune. That is a big tune.
That is a tune. That was Silk, wasn't it? Silk did the original.
Saying, is it better than the Silk one?
It's better.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah, and I don't like myself for saying it because I was a fan of Silk, but I prefer the Another Level version.
They took that song to another level.
Yeah,
actually did.
I mean, it's like
Actually did because Another Level took it to the pop market. Before that, it was just a kind of like underground R&B market that heard the song through Silk, mainly in America. But yeah, I feel that Another Level did take it.
But didn't Blue do the same thing with Next Too Close?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, so like once you say one's right, then you're opening the door for everyone, and then that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Like I understand, and it is good. And actually, I've listened to that version of it more than I've listened to the Silk version, if I'm being honest.
But the Another Level version is more. I would say it's better. I like the production on it, especially.
Yeah, the production's tighter. It is true.
Would you say though that Too Close by Next was actually quite a mainstream R&B tune? Everyone knew that tune, didn't they?
It was very mainstream for a song that is basically you're accidentally giving me a.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's about. Yeah,
but the thing is, with the Silk version of Freak Me, I feel that it probably wasn't as well known as
definitely not UK wise, was it? No.
Yeah, as the next version.
Yeah.
Because I would like to think by the time Blue brought it out, everyone knew the tune already. They knew it was the cover. I'd like to think
the popularity was different, wasn't it, in this first place? I know
it was. Yeah.
But I mean, I had a problem with it for that reason, not because it was in there. Just like I got a problem with Nelly's Country Grammar, because I don't really think that's a guilty pleasure, but I also know why it's in there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of hip hop purists have a hard time with Nelly. Yeah, and I think that song is fantastic. I think that a lot of he wasn't the first singer / rapper / rapping singer rapper, whatever, TJ Swan, etc. from Juice Crew back in the day and so on and so forth. But I think a lot of rappers and singers / singer rappers owe a debt to Nelly and his sing-songy style. Sure, there's a Bone Thugs and Harmony and people like that beforehand, but that's different again. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of Nelly has a lot of musical children, or have a lot of their style indebted to Nelly sooner or later. Fantastic tune. Back in the day when rappers felt no shame about bigging up Donald Trump, you will notice. How those times changed.
I think you're right, especially in modern hip hop, where they say that now you get this emo rap, and they say that Drake's the king of it. I don't think you get there without Nelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get there without Nelly. That is very, very true, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that. So I understand why it's in there, and I understand why it's considered a guilty pleasure. But like I said before, obviously we spoke about that album on a previous episode, the year 2000, as one of the albums that kind of made a mark on the music industry in that year. We didn't talk about in depth, but we gave it a quote.
I would say that Nelly's Country Grammar, especially, is the type of song that if I played it I think I'm equally going to get cussed by my pop music, non-hip hop, non-R&B music friends as much as I'm going to get cussed by hip hop quote unquote purists for playing that tune, which makes it a guilty pleasure in my eyes.
Totally. But other than that, I thought the list is very solid, and I look forward to doing another one. But next time, I think that we should give it an era. So guilty pleasures of the 80s or guilty pleasures of the 90s, or because I think it's too.
Oh yeah.
I think it's too broad a frame just to say guilty pleasures because there's just so many of them.
My cup runneth over. I could do a whole show on guilty pleasures in the 80s, starting with the letter A, and just work through the alphabet. I mean, I've got.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll revisit it. We will visit it, and actually, we might revisit it with more members of panel. Maybe we'll get George back, and some of the other guys that help out, and we'll go from there.
He sounded like he really wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, he loves the guilty pleasure, old George. And
there you go.
And he'll pick some absolute stinkers. I can tell you, I guarantee it, and he'll argue it to the cows come home. So,
I love it.
It'll be good to have him on to chat about it. But for now, we'll have a bit of a break from guilty pleasures, and we'll move forward with our more in-depth looks at music. So we've got a few things in the pipeline. We're going to have a little break from episodes for a bit, but we will be back completing the season before the end of October. So thank you very much for listening to the show. Lee, Mark, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for your picks, your musical tastes. I always enjoy discussing these things with you, even when we don't agree. You help make the show better.
Yes.
I don't want to get.
Thanks. I don't
want to get accused of just onslaughting you all the time. You know, if I can put that caveat at the end, it shows that this balances out a little bit. There is a lot of love in the relationship as well. It's not all.
Leave them smiling.
Exactly.
It's not all aggression from Mark.
Mark, compliment Sandwich Williams.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Listeners, please check out all our previous episodes. If you hear anything you like, please do share on social media. We appreciate the love. Thank you for everyone that sent us a message over the last few months. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all the artists that have wanted to be in touch, whether it's been interviews or appreciated any of the reviews or nice things that we've said about them on the podcast or on the blog. You can check us out on Instagram on Influence Music Podcast, or our blog, influencepodcast.co.uk. The show is present on all major outlets. We regularly put that on Instagram, so you can check it out. We also have a YouTube channel, which is also there on Instagram or on our blog page, where you can find us and check that out. And coming up in the future, you will find Influence Soundbites, which are just short snippets of news, reviews, and information, gig patterns, a little bit about the panels and the people involved in the podcast. And Influence Grub and Gig is coming very, very shortly, which will be our vlog. We're hoping to start that as soon as the lockdown is over. So as soon as that is shut down and gigs are open and we can get some food in our bellies, you will see us out enjoying ourselves all around the country. Thanks again. Lots of love.
Influence Music Podcast. We exploring new music and making connections back to previous musical generations via panel debates, conversations and interviews with artists, enthusiasts and media insiders.